What I loved about the series is that the series ends with Indrani Mukerjea being asked by a voice behind the camera, "Did you kill your daughter Sheena?" And she barks actually. What a stupid question is that? Good afternoon, this is Manjusha Radhakrishnan from Gulf News. Today I'm here with the review of the true crime Netflix series called the Indrani Mukerjea Story, Buried Truth. It's a 4-episode series that's streaming currently on Netflix. It's directed by Shan Levy and Uraz Bal, and what we have is a very fly-on-the-wall approach to the Indrani Mukerjea murder trial. The trial is still ongoing. Back in 2015, a 25-year-old identified as Sheena Bora, her body was found near Maharashtra, and Indrani Mukerjea was arrested. At that point, we knew that Indrani Mukerjea is a TV mogul and that her sister, she was the prime accused in the killing and murder of her sister. But later it came to light that Indrani Mukerjea is actually her mother. She changed her narrative during the interrogation, and then her driver, her ex-husband, and her current husband, Peter Mukerjea, were arrested for the kidnapping and murder of Indrani Mukerjea's daughter, born out of incest because she was raped by her father, she claims. Now, this is a murder trial that fascinated India back in 2015. Even now, the trial is ongoing, and the interest in the case has not really abated because there are no concrete answers. What I loved about the series is that the series ends with Indrani Mukerjea being asked by a voice behind the camera, "Did you kill your daughter Sheena?" And she barks actually. What a stupid question is that? This is precisely the problem with the series. You do not get concrete answers in this one. Everything is very ambivalent. The voices in the documentary belong to Indrani Mukerjea, her lawyer, and then her 2 children from her previous marriages. There's Vidhi Mukerjea and Mikhail Bora, who talks about their mother, what could have possibly happened. The problem with this documentary is that you do not get any concrete answers, and none of these subjects in the documentary are likable. What I loved about the documentary is that the directors don't try to take a stand, they don't pass judgment. It's a fly-on-the-wall approach, and that works for this documentary. And let me tell you, none of the subjects and the voices in this documentary, including Indrani Mukerjea, there is Vidhi Mukerjea and Mikhail and the lawyers, they don't seem like very likable. Their scruples, their identity, everything is very questionable. In fact, this is a tangled web where there is a dysfunctional family, there are like some dark secrets, there's materialism, there's corporate greed, there's this need to be a part of a certain wealthy circle, etc. All of them are at interplay, and it kind of shows the very twisted and macabre dynamics that go into perhaps making of a wealthy family. You know, nothing is as straight as it seems. Out of all the voices that are heard in this documentary and seen in the documentary, it is Indrani Mukerjea who seems the least likable. I mean, there are times when she tries to coach her own lawyer and the lawyer goes, "Indrani, take a chill pill. I have it. I've got it sorted." I mean, it's unintentionally funny. At some part, you're like, you know, even as a viewer, you find it a bit uncomfortable to watch because you realize that you are consuming this documentary because you love things that are macabre, and at the end of the day, a life has been snuffed out. We seem to forget this because there's a bit of salacious fun to be had, and that makes you, it's like a guilty pleasure, if you know what I mean. That's one of the downsides of this documentary, where even the viewers at every point are like, why are we consuming this entertainment? Why are we setting aside 4 hours of our life? Because this case, this murder trial fascinates us. But at the end of the day, a life was lost. You don't know where Sheena Bora is. Has she disappeared? Was she killed by her own mother and her stepdads? You don't know that. And her own father as well, or the driver. We don't know what really happened. This particular documentary does not give you any particular answers, but it also points towards this trend of us as viewers being fascinated by real-life true crime documentaries. For instance, the one where there was Jolly, a woman in Kerala who who killed an entire clan of hers by poisoning them with cyanide, and that particular documentary was also equally fascinating. This documentary is fascinating and frustrating in equal measure. Out of all the voices, I thought the voice of daughter Vidhi Mukerjea, she seems to come from a more authentic space. The parts where she talks about self-harm, where she talks about her battle with alcoholism, when she realized that her entire family structure is eroding as she speaks, the family that she knew does not exist, and possibly her mom is murdered her own daughter that she was first introduced as an aunt, etc. Vidhi's voice is the most authentic. You kind of feel for her. But when it comes to Mikhail or when it comes to Indrani, you realize that they are quite manipulative in their own words, and they try to like stage manage and orchestrate their responses. You don't know what to really think of them. If you're in the mood for a very salacious documentary, then this is perhaps for you. But if you're looking for concrete answers or becoming a bit more smarter, or if you're trying to find answers, then they remain elusive. I've gone with 3 out of 5. For my full review, go to gulfnews.com.